This is the OverReaction podcast.
Jon, I noticed you got the you're repping the Hawkeye gear.
You bet, man. Heart and soul.
Okay,
Heart
dude.
and soul. I'm bringing it.
That's fantastic. I think all I've got is this old, I don't even, what's that, moss or rust or mold on mine? I got nothing. I'm representing a.
See this? I have a 1986 Hawkeye's Rose Bowl pen here on my desk,
Holy
too.
smokes, man. Dude, I got to ask, man, how come your head coach or the athletic director or whatever can't get you an offensive coordinator that could just get you 3 touchdowns a game? I mean, you guys would be you'd be finishing number 2 at least every year in the Big Ten at worst.
I know, especially with the strength of our schedule the last couple of years, not having to play like Michigan or Ohio State. Like, you think that we could do that. But, it's interesting. Beth Getz came in. She's the new AD just last year, and she's already started, like, cleaning house.
Where'd she come from?
Oh, boy. Another Big Ten school. She was assistant AD. I forgot which one off the top of my head. But, yeah, she fired Fran McCaffrey this year, who was the basketball coach. Kind of the same thing, just kind of this, he's been around, 20 years.
Hang on. Isn't Fran's son dating
Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, funny story. Like last year during the homecoming game, Hawks were playing Michigan. I was up in the Iowa basketball suite, and Fran was up there, and Caitlin Clark comes walking in. I'm wearing my Iowa Hawkeyes women's basketball hat. Pointing it out to her. She's giving me the yes sir, like got a picture with her and everything. She was the coolest person, like just humble, just hanging out with everybody. Like, I mean, my God, you'd think it was just another person. And here, one of the people that have probably impacted the world of athletics. I'm just putting it out there, like world of athletics more than anyone have in the last couple of years. I mean, just driving the viewership for women's basketball and the awareness.
I think it's so funny. Why more WNBA players haven't embraced her? I mean, she's making them so much money for a league that already operates massively in the red.
Yeah,
you think it'd be great, pays more, bring the eyeballs, pays more. It's kind of nuts.
No, but I think it's interesting. It's one of these things where I think that her impact will be seen more on the generations that follow her versus her generation right now. And not saying that the other, players in the WNBA don't respect her or don't think that she's good for the game or whatever. I just think that the impacts are going to be from the young kids growing up, emulating her, just like the men did with Michael Jordan. And I mean, if you remember, like the NBA wasn't exactly bringing in a ton of viewership really until the Magic and Larry Bird years.
Yeah.
That's what really drove the membership or the viewership, excuse me. And so I think this could be that wave for the WNBA. We'll see how the next few years pan out, but they certainly are riding a wave right now.
Keep going.
Yeah. So just another small point on that. So the Indiana team, Indiana Fever, played in Iowa City last week in an exhibition game against Brazil. And obviously I have a lot of friends back in Iowa City. They had season tickets, so they were able to get tickets for they were in the second row. They were like $200 a piece of tickets. That's what they were able to get them for because they were season ticket holders. If they would have sold the tickets, it would have been $2,000 a ticket. That's what they were offered.
Jeez.
Isn't that crazy? Wow.
She's a phenomenon, brother.
She is. It's cool. But no, back to the original point. Like, Beth Getz came in as the AD. She cleaned house, with some of the other folks. I think that, Ferentz, this is probably going to be his last go around. I mean, he'll set the record with the most number of wins, a Big Ten coach. He's been really good for the program. I mean, he's done a lot of good things, but like anything, like you need to know when it's time to hang up the sneakers. And I think he's comfortable with a certain style of play. So therefore the OCs that he bring in, even after Brian, after his kind of disastrous couple of years, I mean, they're going to play the same ball game. They're going to run run 3 times. We may see some play action here and there, but we are certainly not going to be a team that puts the big numbers on the boards.
Yeah, I think like the NIL and transfer portal, college athletics, specifically football and basketball, let's be honest, the other sports, very, very difficult to generate any sort of money for it. They're becoming professional leagues. That's one of the reasons why Nick Saban left. Because schools that have, a significant amount of money, but they can never pay their players or would never pay their players, like maybe a couple schools in the SEC that we won't mention names of or whatever, and a couple Big Ten schools that we won't name names, that all of a sudden you can have this playing field leveled, and it becomes, instead of a brand and a head coach, it becomes a lot of the power starts going to the players, kind of a bit more like the NFL. Hopefully never like the NBA. NBA is almost, for me, an unwatchable product compared to college basketball.
Agreed.
But the NFL's, I still think the best league. And, so that's going to be interesting. So I think that coach at Iowa was like, I don't know if you're built for this new world of college football.
Yeah. I was talking to a buddy of mine about this too. Like, just the dynamics of being now a coach in college athletics. Like, recruiting takes on a whole nother beast. I mean, it's not like you invest heavily to recruit somebody, then you have them for a while. Like, you have to recruit them every year. You have to keep them happy every year. Like, and that's a different dynamic. The other different dynamic is just, how are these kids graduating? These kids that have gone to 3 different schools in 4 years, or 4 different schools in 4 years, like,
care even a little bit anymore.
I mean, how did the credit? I mean, I transferred. So my first year, I spent at University of Minnesota because I'm like, I got to get out of Iowa, just
because
to do what I need to do. But ran out of money, came back, and like, I think 2/3 of my credit transferred, and like, I mean, like, just that process of transferring credits and getting, classes and all that, and being able to graduate criteria. I don't know how you do it if you've switched schools 2-3 times in 4 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what degrees are going to mean anymore. Like, the way because for our business, for example, I don't care if someone has a college degree, even a little bit. Now, for our accountant, I have to be a CPA, right? Same thing if I'm going to go, you better be a surgeon. I mean, there's certain things where, you better. If someone's an electrician, I hope you're a journeyman electrician, right? You're not you're some apprentice. There's certain things I totally get, but a lot of companies I work in the startup world, they're like, can you do the job? We'll give you the experience. Do you bring intellect, passion, work ethic, whatever? All right, we'll give you the job. But back to college, I don't know. I don't think a lot of these guys care. They should be thinking more about, okay, maybe you don't get a degree, but hopefully you've got some skills besides the sport you were playing.
Mm-hmm.
Because what are you going to do? Drive Uber?
I know. It's I think it's that absence of forethought and just the percentages of who's actually going to be successful on the professional level, and not just successful. I mean, successful to a point where you don't need to fall back on anything else. I mean, I know a ton of people who played in the league that, had been with them for 3, 4, 5 years, but never made it really off practice squads and all that. And like, living that lifestyle is expensive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so it ain't the same, $100,000, $300,000 making that, in the NFL is different than making $300,000, in a business setting where you're just living in a community and you're not pressured with all these things to, live up to a certain, standard or lifestyle.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, agreed. And it's going to be interesting, the impact on the NBA specifically, not NFL, because NFL always did it right. It was, hey, you've got to be a certain age. Like, basically 3 years out of high school, you can't join our league. NBA is like, we don't care, 1 year out. But some of these kids are like, hey, I can make, if I'm not in the lottery pick, like the top lottery, I can make almost as much money staying for another year or two in college. I can work on my game. I'm playing a third of the games. I don't need to go till I'm really, 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 really ready, which hopefully makes the NBA product a lot better, more competitive, where they actually care about defense once in a while. You can't take 5 steps. Basically it's Australian rules football. I watched the clip. I should have pulled it up before and had Matea, our producer, pull it up, but it showed Steph Curry took like 6 steps last night. 6 steps. I'm like, all right, forget it. Like,
oh man.
I mean,
yeah, it's
the travel, the ABA, I don't know why I'm going around on this, but it would be like an NFL where you let the star quarterback sometimes go 2-3 yards past the line of scrimmage and still throw the football.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I hear you.
What the heck?
I know. It happens in a microcosm, with the Tom Brady's and Patrick Mahomes of the world, where they get by with, it wasn't a forward pass or roughing.
To me, it's the roughing passer. There's nothing. The forward pass stuff, the fumbles, that doesn't happen enough that you.
Right.
When it does happen, you're like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But it's the roughing the passer stuff. I'm with Tom Brady where he's like, hey, it's my job not to throw my guy into a big hit. It isn't the defender's responsibility, because now the defender's having to worry about something more than just making the hit. Like it's the quarterback's job and the receiver's job not to make it, too easy. And all the hits, like these aren't even hits to the face anymore. Or guy pushes Patrick, and I actually like Patrick Mahomes, but I've seen enough calls to go, oh, come on, man. Guy goes to tackle and he's bringing him down. His hand goes up and just hits him in the face. Not even hard. Guys, that's incidental. I can't be 15 yards.
Yeah.
Hand to the face. He was falling down. Or a guy, I love the one where the guy gets blocked into the quarterback's knees. Like he's up here and then the running back or whatever will hit him and knock him down. He's falling. He can't even see anymore. He gets into the knee like
No, I know. Those things make you shake your head. And I'll give it to Pat Mahomes. Like, he has done such a magical job of marketing himself and positioning himself as what he is. I mean, he's a pillar of the Kansas City community. But I mean, his board's on everything. Like he markets everything. Every bank like has him on it. Or
well, he has my understanding, he has no controversy off the field. Like he hasn't done anything.
No. Like
illegal or crazy or whatever. He's just seems to be a really good guy.
Yeah. And I think that's
he just gets the calls,
Yeah. I think that's from growing up in the family he did, though. Like, I mean, his dad played
family.
Major League Baseball, and now he's part of the owner of the Royals, franchise. And but when people don't like people like that, we have a saying here in Kansas City: it's don't hate the barbecue, hate the sauce. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm not unless it's really spicy. I don't want any sauce on my meat. Like I just don't just give me the burn ends, leave everything alone. Like just give it to me.
Dry rub's the way to go.
Oh, for sure. Like forget sweet sauces. I got like a sweet sauce. I get like if you're getting wings or something like that, and you want like a mango habanero, it's gonna burn your face off. It's a little sweet, fine. But gosh, man, people like all this sweet sauce they'll chuck on ribs. What are you doing?
Yeah. It's just nonsense. It's nonsense. You ruin the bark. You just, yeah.
Totally.
So I will tell you this. So, I'm a somewhat of a cook, or I like to consider myself an amateur chef. I had a catering business for a little while when I was doing my PhD.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And I got 2 smokers at home. And so I smoke pulled pork like once a year. Like I get like 5-6 of these big pork butts and smoke them all up and all that. But our favorite thing to do with that is I make a homemade peach habanero sauce. The peaches are in season, usually in August. Yeah. And we get one of these Papa Murphy's pizzas, where it's a take and bake pizza. And we order it just plain cheese, no sauce. Oh, so we bring it home.
Yeah.
We take all the cheese off. I put my peach habanero sauce on the pizza. Then I put the smoked pulled pork. Then I hit it with a little bit of red onion, and then put the cheese back on top. I cook that sucker on the grill. And man, sprinkle a little dry rub, shake on it, like it's winning.
It's winning.
The only thing
one of your definitions of winning.
That's right. The only thing's missing is the green olives, right?
Oh, dude, yeah, that's yeah. So I'm kind of a carnivore guy where I like a lot of meat on the pizza. I don't like a lot of other stuff, but I tell you that sausage, mushroom, green olives, and jalapenos. That's like my go-to. And then I still shake the chili peppers on it. That's the red peppers. That's the thing I do. So how was did you hit the gym this morning?
No, I did not. Actually, my dog needed to go to daycare, and I kind of had to get the jump on the yard, so I was going to go this afternoon. How about you? Did you get on your bike or anything?
I went a couple days ago. I did what's called I call it that. I shouldn't even say what's called. It's me. They call it the Park City Triathlon.
Oh, wow.
It shouldn't be called triathlon because that's not actually what it is. I go hit 3 of the best Black Diamond jump trails in the area. It's actually, this one here is one of the easier ones. It's part of it. So I did it all in the morning. And then I spent the afternoon trying not to take ibuprofen just because it's so, it's just aerobic is whatever. Like doing aerobic's easy, but the downhill on a mountain bike, it's you're full anaerobic. You're just, gritting, jumping, pumping, trying not to kill yourself, but it's super aggressive. So I did six laps of these 3 different trails, and that was awesome. But I just do body weight exercise. Like you are lifting for power. I haven't done that in probably 17 years.
Oh yeah, I got into it during COVID, man. Needed something to do.
I know you got pretty swole.
I did. I actually been toning it back a little bit, but it's been fun. It's been fun doing it again. Like I don't power lift. I lift for strength mainly, and
yeah, kind of more like strongman exercises than bodybuilder exercises.
Just the opposite, more like bodybuilders who do like 10, 12, 15 reps versus just doing like 1 or 2 or 3 reps. Like, it's really about just torturing the muscle, just about hitting it from different angles and just burning it out. And I have that part really well. The diet part, that part's lacking.
I used to believe that you could kind of eat whatever you wanted as long as you exercise a lot. And I've always been crazy active. Like always played pickup basketball, always ran, high canyoneering, mountain bike, like always did it. But as I got older, around my late 40s, I'm like, nope, like I can't put diesel in a gas engine anymore. I just can't. Yeah. Like every once in a while I'll flirt with some diesel, but for the most part, I got to put higher octane gas in it. So I cut out. So 5 years ago, I cut out all soda, like just none. I'll still do like sparkling water, but no like Diet Coke. I still love it to this day, but I don't do it. You see, like a 32 ounce, fill it up with about 2/3 ice because I like diluting, and I do half Coke, half Diet Coke. That was my thing. I would do it all the time. But I've got kind of addictive personality, and I tried weaning off like, just a couple times a week. No, the second I would go to it. So that was 5 years ago. Started feeling pretty good. It was, for me, it was more, I wasn't as sore when I did activities. That's what I noticed in the first couple of weeks. I wasn't quite as sore. There's no other noticeable, I'm sure there's noticeable benefits, teeth or diabetes or whatever else. But then 3 years ago, I just went off refined sugar. Wow. I went low carb, not no carb. I'm not a psycho, which some people are. Just fine. I know some people have gone straight carnivore. They had like serious autoimmune issues, and no matter what they did, no matter what medications they did, and they went for a carnivore, it all went away. So, but to me, unless it's an extreme situation, I don't think it makes any sense. But whatever. People do what they want to do. But I just decided to go low carb. I've never looked back. which I've
Awesome.
I've loved it. And I've started adding creatine 3 weeks ago. And the biggest thing I've noticed with creatine is, for the first time in my life, I don't have insomnia. I've had insomnia since I was 8 years old. And I haven't noticed anything else other than that, but I think getting better sleep is like a steroid. Honestly, it feels like a performance enhancing drug. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, it is nuts, brother.
No, I agree. Slightly different. The way I experienced that was, I was always like 220, 218, like, and I'm like 270 now. Like, so the bodybuilding, like, I really put on a lot of weight and put on a lot of strength, a lot of muscle. But what happened is my neck started getting so big from lifting, like I really had problems snoring. So
like sleep apnea kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's what happened. Like, we went, my wife and I went on vacation with some friends we went to St. Kitts, and we shared a villa, so we were in different rooms, obviously, but it was all connected by a common room.
Of course.
And they would wake up in the morning like, dude, like, we heard you from like across the hall. Like, you were snoring so loud. So they all had CPAPs, every one of them. Like, even the wives, like there was like seven CPAPs in there, and me. So I got a CPAP, and I sleep so well. Like, it's got a water reservoir. It like hydrates my nose. I've had it for more than 2 years. And honestly, my respiratory therapist, my pulmonologist, when I go see them once a year because I have asthma, like, I'm their spokesperson. Like, they have people that are like, I'm not going to do a CPAP. Like, I sit here, have them call me. I will tell them to use it because it is the greatest thing I've ever experienced.
Dude, every power lifter I know, every strong man I know, anyone who's just big, like big, muscled up, all CPAP.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yep. No, it's the greatest. Like, I don't even know how to, I just do I have the nose cover, but it forces me to only breathe through my nose. My mouth is always closed, so I don't wake up with dry mouth. It has like a humidifier in it, so you put distilled water in it. Like, so it just feels refreshing, and I had the best sleep in my life. Like, I only need like 6.5, 7 hours of sleep, and I wake up just feeling awesome.
That's awesome, brother.
Yep.
Something I started doing, I watched this this lady, she's an exercise scientist, but she's also a neuro. What I found was interesting, the number of people that are neuroscientists that also obsess about physical health, which I started thinking about telling my wife a couple of days ago. And I'm like, I don't know why that surprised me. Because it's not like the brain is somehow separate from the physical body. Like, the brain is a organ. Like, so it makes sense. And all these systems are somehow interconnected. And she just said, hey, just try this in your bedroom, especially if you sleep with a partner, your spouse, whatever. Open the window half hour before bed. Decrease the carbon dioxide levels. And then when you first get up in the morning, like, it actually just helps.
Wow.
And they're right too. So I open the window before, and we have if I have to, a little space heater, because right now, Park City area, it's a little cold at night. You can have a room. I like to have my room at about 67 degrees at night.
Mm-hmm.
I just sleep. And the thing is, I just want a sheet. I overheat, man. Like, during the day I get cold for some reason, but at night, man, I'm just like a little oven. But just opened it up, and just the last week, and just a teeny bit better. But it's in the margins. Like, the devil's in the margins, not the macros. So unless it's nutrients, then the devil's in the macro.
Oh, preach on though. Like, I love it. Like, cool when I sleep, and I don't sleep on the covers either. Like, I sleep on top of my bed. Like, even in the winter, like, I always run a little bit hot when I'm sleeping. And
I haven't had a blanket on me in probably 15, 16 years. It's been just a sheet at most. I just can't do it. I just feel like these people are like, oh, you need to get these lead weighted blanket. It'll help you. I'm like, I don't got that kind of trauma in my past that I need to be crushed with a heavy blanket, man. Like, I would have PTSD from sleeping under that blanket one night. Like, I'd have dreams of getting attacked. I mean, you probably do too. I have dreams where I'm always fighting something, like something's trying to get me. And I'm like, if I had that on top of me, I'm like, I'm dying. I'm in a canyon. It's collapsed on me. It's 128 hours later. I'm having to cut my arm off. That's my definition of help, man. But I guess it's for other people not having a blanket or just having a sheet or like you sleeping on top. They would maybe feel like they're getting attacked or something. They're fully exposed. Their feng shui is going all off or something, you know?
So I currently, I work for a company as a market president, and then I have
we're going to talk about that in a second. I promise we'll actually talk about something important.
No nonsense. Behind the side hustle, I consult for private equity and a couple other companies. Every one of them has sent me a blanket. The welcome gift was always a blanket. I have 100 blankets at this house. I don't use any of them.
Dude, that's what Goodwill's for.
I know, my dog loves them. My dog sleeps on half.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, horses and dogs, you're covered.
And my wife.
Why blankets?
I don't know. I don't know why it is, but like, my wife loves them. Like she'll have like 3 or 4 of them on her at once. She has an electric blanket in the living room that we plugged in under the couch. She could just crank on like to 100 degrees.
There's nothing that makes me feel better than waking up like I'm in Amazon rainforest, just dripping sweat everywhere. Everything's like this. Oh, I love that feeling. Give me some more double-sided tape all over me.
It's like waking up in a waterbed. I feel like I woke up in the 80s or something.
Dude, I couldn't do waterbeds, man. For one summer, there's a huge recession. I got back I did a mission for my church for 2 years, and I got back to Canada. And huge recession. Not as bad as the one they're going into right now, but it was pretty bad. So I couldn't find a job. So my uncle was the CFO and chief operating officer for Showboat Casinos in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So I fly from little tiny southern Alberta, Canada, to the Philly airport, which it hasn't gotten any better. I remember going through it like 20 years later. I'm like, this thing sucks permanently. Anyway, so I get out there and they put me in like one of their, they have a big house out in the middle of somewhere it's like 30 miles west of Ocean City, just out in the forest, the hills or whatever, not even hills, just tons of trees. And they put me in one of their kids' bedrooms and it's a waterbed. Middle of the night, I'm on the carpet. I slept on the carpet all summer, 4 months. I'm like, what is this thing, man? Like every time you move, I'm like, I don't want to get woken up when I move. And then my back would get sore. Like, there's nothing to this thing. And that was when I was 21 years old.
I never understood them either. I never had one.
Dude, Atlantic City was crazy. People would say, oh, it's just like Vegas. I'm like, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. It's like driving through Compton then getting to Vegas for 1 block along the strip.
I'm not kidding. Wow.
Oh, it was crazy. And this dude driving through, kill me now. Like I was a target. So my uncle had this old, like 1978 Ford LTD, just huge boats.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing was huge. So I worked at the casino from 4 o'clock till midnight. I worked in one of the restaurants. And I'd go to Ocean. I used to play a lot of volleyball, a lot of sand volleyball. So I'd go to, I'd sleep until about 8, 9 in the morning because I wouldn't get home till 1 o'clock. I'd take the Jersey Turnpike, pretend I was throwing change into the toll booths, and then just go across, running over turtles. Middle of the night, these turtles would come across. It was all marshland, and I just kill them. Like, man, it's like Mad Max out here. And so I wouldn't get to bed till like 1:30. So I get about 9 in the morning, and then I would do chores around the house. That was my rent, have to do chores, and then I would go to Ocean City, to the beach and the boardwalk, and I would play volleyball, body surf, stuff like that, shower there, and then I would drive to Atlantic City. And I used my uncle's old boat, Ford LTD. After the first day, because I had to wear a tuxedo, I'm like, you know what? I don't know much, but I know that I'm a target. Like, you can't look like me and think you're going to make it through here too often. So what I would do is I would keep my shirt off. I would just be, I'd wear nothing up top. No T-shirt, no nothing. and I would wear my hat on backwards with sunglasses, and I would put the car seat all the way back. So all you could see is this, like from the side, that's all you could see. And I would just drive in, and I get to the employee parking area, I get off, and then I put my tuxedo on and just go in. You know,
Wow.
So, I mean, everyone, oh man, Atlantic City's like Vegas. Not even a teeny bit. Like you can get off the strip and get in a couple, sketchy areas in Vegas, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
But Atlantic City, brother, it's just Newark with casinos or Camden with casinos, man.
I'll tell you what.
Sorry, anyone who's watching from Atlantic City, I'm speaking the truth. You can get mad at me, scream in the comments, do whatever you want. I'm sorry.
No, but I think that's accurate at one point in time. Like I haven't been to Newark in a long time, but traveling as a consultant the first 15 years, whatever I was doing that, like I've been to every state except for Maine, which I'm going to this year. So I'm going to knock that one off. I've been to 14 countries, and I still remember traveling in the U.S., whether I was in Detroit or LA or wherever. Like there's only one place that I had a rental car that I did not fill up the gas tank before I dropped it off at the airport, and that was in Newark.
It's worth it. Charge me double.
Exactly. I was already down there, like there was a Devils game going on or something like that, or starting to, and like there was this one like corner gas station. And I looked at it, I thought, yeah, no thank you, I'll take the charge. Just went right to the airport.
It's like that one, I think it was Eddie Murphy or whatever. He's like, yeah, man, I remember when I hit puberty and I knew the answer. I'm sitting in class and whoa. And the teacher's like, hey, Eddie, come up and do this thing on the board. He's like, no, I'll take a 0 today. No, I know you know the answer. Come up to the chalkboard. No, I'll just take a 0. No, I'll just charge me double for the gas. I don't care. Triple. That's cheaper than copay. Like, go ahead. Just fill it out. So, dude, tell me about you care, dude. Like, how's everything going with the
world? We've had a tough go, like most community,
everybody,
like most community health plans, like the smaller ones. Like we're not talking about the big 5 families of healthcare, the Fortune 5s and Fortune 25s.
I thought that UHG lost 150 billion on their market cap from the beginning of the year, but of course, when you're starting as big as they are,
no, I mean, I think Medicare Advantage has been kind of hard on a lot of companies this year, and I know that for a fact. And actually, it was a good sign that this CMS kind of signaled an increase there in the rates of 5%. I think that was kind of unexpected, but it was hardest on like these small community plans who, the last few years, have been focused on Medicare, as their growth strategies. Medicare is a growth strategy. So one in particular, like CCA,
which was by intention from the government, right? I mean, by intention.
Yeah, because they were like, this is where we're going to make our money. This is where we're going to grow and develop the capital so we can expand and do other things. And while, UCare kind of fell into that trap too. I mean, the bigger example probably recently was CCA, who was out in Massachusetts, that tried to expand not only in Massachusetts, but also Michigan and some other states for their MA plans. And they got so overextended, like they essentially was a fire sale. Essentially, they weren't really going to be able to offer a plan, and they were so upside down on their MLR that they ended up getting bought by CareSource because a couple of reasons. I think CareSource has shown that they're really taking an expansive strategy, which more power to them. Like their nonprofit plan. Earnhardt Prater is their CEO, a heck of a nice guy. Came from some of the bigger plans, so he's really experienced. He's not just a naive guy in a nonprofit. He knows how to run a business, and they've done some key acquisitions in Wisconsin lately, and then the CCA acquisition was really kind of up there right in their sweet spot, since they're really after those high acuity populations. They're not as interested in doing the moms and kids and Medicaid. I mean, they'll do them obviously, but they're really interested in the highest need folks. So, but yeah, UCare is kind of in that space right now. We're trying to figure out if we're going to make it through or how we're going to make it through. And my focus has always been on external growth. So I hadn't really been a part of the internal operations until recently.
Kind of forced to, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, spending 3 years running operations or 2.5 years running operations at United teaches you a lot of things. It teaches you, how to run a business. But it's interesting, like working in the health plan space and healthcare, especially since I ran a Medicaid program on the government side. I ran Kansas for a couple of years. Ran, as chief operating officer, United Plan, a for-profit plan, and then running, being at UCare, a nonprofit plan. It's just none of them are right. Like, it's not like, okay, well, this is the right one and those are the wrong ones. It's like they all have pieces and parts that contribute to the system and take away from the system. So it's just solving the healthcare conundrum or the paradigm, especially in the payer space. There's pieces and parts of each one of them that will bring value to the system, and pieces and parts that will extract value and drive costs and reduce value in the system is what I would call it.
So what do you think, like putting on your magic hat, looking at the crystal ball, what do you think is going to end up happening over the next year or so when it comes to Medicare Advantage plans, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a steady state? Do you see the government doing like a massive shift in a radically different direction, which doesn't seem, I don't think they would do that, but you would know better than me.
Yeah, I kind of look to their leadership. Chris Klump is the guy that's running Medicare for CMS for Dr. Oz, or for Administrator Oz, I think he's going by now. He's a guy that came from the tech space. He was point click care. He was one of the head guys there. He's as an advisor on many boards for many of the different tech companies. So I'm hoping that they're tech forward. I'm hoping again that they recognize maybe the true role of payers in this space is to serve as incubators for technology and innovation coming through the private sector, coming out of these, coming out of, wherever they may be coming from per se, but like seeing that as an opportunity to help fund some of these smaller companies who are just getting started with great ideas. Because I met with tons of them. I do some pro bono work for a few of them. One came out of the MIT incubator, and I just love talking to this CEO because she is just like energized. She's thinking the right way. She's taking the right challenges. Like, it's not just like same old. And I think you feel that in the large payer space and all that, because they're too big to be able to really innovate, but they can fund innovation. They have the capital to bring on some of these players, niche players, put them in markets, seeing how they do, giving them a chance to grow and a chance to evolve. And some will make it and some won't, but like anything, the strong will survive. I think on the Medicaid side, that's interesting too. The guy that's running Medicaid is also a good friend of mine, who ran Medicaid market in Mississippi, Drew Schneider. And Drew and I was Medicaid director when Drew was as well. So we've spent many an evening sitting around, restaurants, sipping on libations, discussing the world. And again, even with him, I think he has the right perspective that, just throwing spending at Medicaid is not going to make it efficient. It's not going to make it valuable. Yeah. You have to be really intentional about where your investments are. And I'm not saying that they're doing it right now. I don't think CMS has their bearing correct. I think they're feeling out the water. They're going to figure it out at some point in time. But we know the answer isn't just more money, because
that's the thing. I've talked to so many people, and I don't get political about parties. I don't care. And I don't care about people's opinions of someone's personality or whatever. I just don't. Like, when you get to something as important as our country, our debt, taking care of senior citizens, taking care of veterans, and that kind of stuff, certainly I just don't care anymore. I should be more sensitive to people's feelings, but we're at the point where we're at a critical time as a country, from a debt perspective, a cost perspective, where I was talking to this lady. She's been on the left and I'm an independent. I'm a psycho libertarian. I'm like, just leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. Whatever, right? So I'm already insane. Anyway, she's on the left. She's San Francisco. She works at this big tech company. Always been on the left, and she's like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. How can it get worse? That's what she said. She's in healthcare tech, and she's like, I don't care anymore. Like, I quit talking politics internally here with the VCs, et cetera. She goes, I don't even care. Like, we can all see it. We can all see how bad it's getting. We can't just put more money at it. Like, we need more money to get to the doctors, to get to the nurses, to surround the patient. And anything that's getting in the way of that happening, that can't encourage that to happen, she goes, I'm kind of slash and burn, which is weird. And I'm like, that's farther than I'm going right now. But to your point, just throwing more money at things, we throw money at a lot of things. All I care about is outcomes. So you've heard me hammer on EHRs, meaningful use. And I'm like, what was the intended purpose? I remember back in 2008 or whenever it was coming out, and let's get meaningful use, high tech, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, what's the outcome? What was the reason we're going to force hospitals and clinics to adopt an EHR? With a carrot, but also a pretty good stick. Like, what was the thing? And they talked about, improve patient care. We're going to be able to do cost containment, all this stuff. Like, did that happen? No, not even a little. And so now the whole thing's changed. You don't talk about it anymore. Talk about, well, we needed access to the data. I'm pretty sure you could have given Jon $100 million. He probably would have designed you something, would have got you there, like a lot easier. So that's what I look at. If this is the outcome, what do we want the outcomes to be? This. Okay. Anything that's stopping that from happening, shouldn't it be subject to scrutiny? And I'm not saying I'm smart enough to do it. I'm not that. I'm just smart enough to notice that the path we're going down, our population is aging. People are getting less healthy, not healthier. Our costs are going, like, there's a fiscal cliff. The apologies to the people who believe in the modern monetary theory, if you can just print money and you never actually have to pay it off. That's a sweet fantasy world. I don't know where that world is, but I want some of that action. It doesn't exist. So, okay, what do we need to do? So I'm hopeful that, the new head that you're talking about, tech savvy guy, knows how to run businesses, on boards, et cetera, is going to say, here's some things we can do. We want to limit the damage, but there's going to be something. We got to do something. And I hope it's what basically what you just talked about.
Yeah. You know what I really think it is? Like, when you kind of look at it comprehensively, is that some solutions are better if they're just low cost, reasonable solutions. Other ones will take a lot of money, a lot of funding, a lot of investment to get done because they're really complex things. And not saying, that one is worse than the other, but like, we have a tendency to over-engineer things that are pretty basic, especially in healthcare. Like, we really do. Like, we wrap these dense technology solutions around an issue like social isolation, where just if we actually brought people back to communities and worked with our neighbors and we're kind of more collaborative, as communities, that was never a problem. There was never a problem. We created a problem because of all the technology we brought in the world. We brought essentially isolation as an issue, and now we're trying to solve isolation again with more technology. The way I like to kind of, like, my analogy for this is my automobile. So when I grew up, I had a 1974 Chevy Custom Deluxe. That was yellow, that came free with my parents' home because, I had no money and I didn't deserve to drive a nice car. But I'll tell you what, I could change the spark plugs, I could change the battery, I could work on the engine, whatever, I could do all of it. Right now, my wife drives an Audi A6 from 2014, doesn't even have 100,000 miles on it because she doesn't drive much. I physically cannot change the battery. I have to bring the battery in. They have to charge me $600 because now to do the battery, you have to reroute it and program it with every other device going. Like, that's what we've created. We've created like these Audis where we have a small problem. Like, I have a cold or whatever. I need to go into urgent care. I go in, I get some antibiotics, whatever. I see the bill, $600. Well, I need to charge you that now because of all these other infrastructure I need around the urgent care clinic to support it. And it's just like, this is what we've done to ourselves. We've we're paying $800 for a Band-Aid now because of all the infrastructure and all the technology and all the EMR systems and everything required just to run a clinic. And the people I feel bad for, I think right now is what we're going to see. I think the conversation we're not having in healthcare too around the current administration. I brought up during the Becker's Healthcare Conference I spoke at last week. We were talking about value-based care.
Nice.
And I said there are certain things in the healthcare ecosystem that you cannot plan for when you contract with a payer. One of them being like if these tariffs go through. Now all of a sudden simple syringes and things that clinics were running, now they're paying 20% more for those things. The payers aren't going to change their contracts with them and be like, oh, we understand now you're paying 20% for materials and all that. We'll cover that cost for you. No, they're based on a fee schedule that assumes that they're paying the same amount for these materials. And those small changes, while we think about it as consumers, like, oh, I'm going to be paying more for my steak now. I mean, it hits these small clinics really, really hard. And that will dynamically change our healthcare ecosystem.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like radiopharmaceuticals, I don't think we make any of them here. Any of the dyes for CT injection, any of that stuff. I don't think we make any of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's becoming an unwielding beast. So, I mean, I guess I try to be optimistic. I try to say, like, there are places that we can take bites out of the elephant, and have it still function as an elephant. But I would really hope that as we look at some of these solutions to some of the problems that we're either creating or have created, that we could just come up with common sense solutions around them. I mean, we want to develop all these different trackers and exercise monitors and all that to help childhood obesity, yet we still feed kids just garbage in our schools. Like,
I got to tell you that, man. I have friends, and I'll see them. Like, there's this new Captain Crunch, which is a creamsicle. Remember creamsicles?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had one in 20 years. I won't again, but creamsicle Captain Crunch. I look and I'm like, how did we convince people that because they're adding artificial vitamins to the ingredient list that's actually healthy? I don't even, like, to your point, that's fine. We can have all these medications, but the foundation of the person is constantly eroding because you can't, like, the same reason you can't out exercise a really bad diet, you can't out medicate a bad diet either. Like, that's because the fundamental building blocks of the person is the quality and nutrient density of the thing they're consuming, their water consumption, and their rest. You can't inject something or take a pill that is going to fundamentally alter the physics of the human body and molecular biology. You can't. You can do a little enhancing on it, but if the foundation is rotten, you can put all the nice paint and shingles you want. That I wouldn't stay in that house.
No, sir. Not if they had a waterbed.
Dude, you were talking about, I didn't want to interrupt you, but when you were talking about your wife's Audi, I got a pickup truck, man. Like, I'm kind of like you guys. I don't buy new cars all the time. It just seems like a deep, to me, I'm not into cars. If it gets me from here to there, and I live in the country, so I always drive a truck. So can I haul stuff in it? And I go somewhere and so I'm like, oh, you got a little scratch there. Like, yeah, I was off road. I was way up in the mountains. Like, I can't not go down this Jeep trail and worry about, ooh, crap, I'm close to a bush. Like, I'm gonna scratch it up. But in that truck, it's 10 years old. I go to try to change the battery. I can't. I mean, I can, but the truck is not going to work because it's got it's got transistors and chips and all this stuff literally on one of the poles. I think it's on the negative. And I'm like, where it's supposed to ground. I'm like, I have to go into the dealership or to a mechanic that services Rams. So my next vehicle, I went to my mechanic 2 weeks ago and said, best guy in the world, guy named Victor Garcia. I'm like, Victor, man, how do you help me go analog in my vehicles? he's like, don't you own a software company? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you got like the brand new iPhone there. I'm like, no, okay. Let me help you understand something, Victor. Yes. Personal computer. Like I got an awesome, big, wide, curved flat screen. I got 85-inch stupid TVs and all this kind of stuff. And I got the latest phone. But I don't have a Nest in my house. I don't want a Wi-Fi. Anyone with Wi-Fi being able to change passwords to get into my house or change my whatever. Because I had a programmer before. He could hack into my truck because with Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Like, you son of a. So anyway, so I'm like, no. My house is analog. My truck's going to be analog. How do you? He's like, I got a buddy. He refurbishes old trucks. So that's my next purchase. People drive around. They're like, oh, man, really hard times. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm going, fine. You think I have hard times? I don't care. Good, have it. No. I'm going stick shift. I'm going old manual transmission because I never have to lock it again because ain't no one going to steal it because they can't drive it. You know? And I'm going old. I'm looking for this guy's going to hook me up with, I don't really care that old. I don't really care if it's a Chevy or Ford. I know people really, you're either Chevy guy. Only people in the country to understand. If you're not from the country, understand, like, you're a Ram idiot. What are you, a farmer? You know, you're either a Chevy guy, you're a Ford guy. Yep. So probably I'll look for old Chevy Silverado, one of the first generation with a crew cab, like probably 25 years old. I'm like, I don't even care if I have to roll the window down like an idiot. Like, it's fine. Like, I want analog, baby. Give it to me.
So I am an idiot. This is wild. Like we've been friends for a long time. I knew we had things in common, but like both of us love for green olives. But also, this is just like you're talking to me. I'm like, oh my god, this is somebody who gets me. Like, so I had a Chevy Avalanche that I drove for 14 years. I loved that vehicle.
Right on, brother.
When I got rid of it, like I'm looking at all these cars and all these things, and like I read a book when I was young called The Millionaire Next Door, and it talked about how
great book.
When it comes to wealth, like there are plumbers, police officers, firemen, all that actually have more wealth accumulated than lawyers and doctors because they keep buying these assets that don't appreciate, they just depreciate, like cars.
Bingo. Yeah.
So I've never actually bought a new car ever in my life. 48 years old.
Me neither. Never.
So I needed to buy a car, and I thought, what is the car that best suits me? It's just manual that I'll feel comfortable in. I bought a Jeep Wrangler Sport,
dude,
with manual doors, manual windows, manual transmission. Yes. I could work on that. So
cool. No, my kids. It's crazy you say it. When my son turned 16, he's now 27 or whatever, like 11 years ago. I bought him a Jeep Cherokee. It was a 1987 Jeep Cherokee Sport.
Nice.
Straight six, because it's like he can learn to change the oil. He can learn to change the radiator out. He can change brakes. You do anything you want with it. Plus, it has no blind spots. You know that Jeep Cherokee Sports, no blind spots. He can't go 100 miles an hour on a freeway. I mean, you can, but you're going to shake to death, right? Right? It's got a rack and pinion steering assembly. And we did that for all of our kids. My daughter's 22. She's driving a 92. Nicer one, Jeep Cherokee Sport. And that's what I get them. I buy them all Jeep Cherokee Sports, first car. I'm not helping you get your second.
Yep.
But, dude, I would love. So my dream, besides getting just a basic truck I can drive around, is I want a 1968 diesel Ford International with a winch. I want to be able to make my own biodiesel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is easy to do.
I love that. Like,
dude, you go to restaurants. They're always trying to get rid of some people will try to buy it. You get out of their grease traps or just save your grease. You can make biodiesel. I mean, just the ability to be self-determinant, man. Like I talk like this. People think I'm going to get a compound and put up razor wire and have 50 cows mounted. I'm like, no. I don't like the idea that something could happen and I can't access, like a little chip. I've had it in my truck. A little chip goes out and none of the monitors work. I can't see my speed. The lights won't turn on, the heat. And you know what a luxury it is? to just turn a knob and that fan goes on, your heater. Pressing a touch screen, my touch screen goes out. I don't have heat or air conditioning.
You're done.
I don't know.
No.
So I love technology. Tesla's going nuts. Everyone drives with FSD or whatever it is. That's awesome. As long as I can still have my old manual truck. Cool, man. That's my libertarian though. I don't want to be forced to have to buy something.
No, I'm right there with you. Like, I want to be able to, fix my own stuff if I want to. Like, I want to have an option to say I can bring it into the dealer or I can fix it myself. And, you can't do that with some of these new cars.
An oil change and a battery.
Yeah.
You can just drive. I just take my daughter's Jeep. Her battery went out. I just pull up to check her, go in, tell them the battery. They'll take my old battery. I bring it out. They give me the tools. If I don't have it, and I just change it right. I mean, 5 minutes. It's done, changed, and I'm driving away. Or do oil. You change your own oil in 10, 12 minutes at your house. Not now. Like, I'm worried I'm going to get arrested. Ooh, I broke the tape. Don't take the mattress tag off. Who's going to arrest me? Or whatever that is. I'm like, did I buy the truck or not? It's not a lease. Why can't I fix it? I'm not going to blame anybody if I don't change the oil right. I'm the idiot. But let me change my oil. Let me change my brakes. Put new rotors on. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, no, you can't have any of that, John.
Oh, I know. It's insane. But, oh, man, you are so speaking my language with that. Because I thought about what I'd like to do, like take up a new hobby. So I've always been really interested in like small engine repair. So I work on my lawnmowers and all that stuff. And I've changed carburetors and I've cleaned this and run gas lines and all that. And so I was telling my wife about it and my neighbor. I was telling my wife and neighbor about it because we're out in the backyard and I'm just like, I think I may do this a little bit. Who knows? If somebody needs around the neighborhood, needs a tune up, whatever, big in the air, I can change their spark plugs and do whatever, just help them out. And he looked at me, my neighbor looked at me and goes, John, everybody has a battery powered mower around here except for you. I'm like, really?
That's when like I'm the alpha in the neighborhood. I'm the alpha. Right on. They're out there. Oh, come on. Let's bring it.
All my noise pollution and gas and oil everywhere. Oh, yeah. I'm the problem. I am the problem, Jeremy.
You're the problem. Oh, those poor polar bears. John.
Oh, buddy. That is too funny.
So what else is going on?
I'm trying to think. What else is going on? What else is new?
So when you get brought, you advise some of these private equity and VC firms. What's the kind of advice they're looking for? Is it invest here, or is it more like giving the lay of the land and help them understand the landmines?
Yeah, it's kind of more like that. Like, we're looking at investing in this particular business or particular entity. Like, this is what we've accounted for. What have we not accounted for? I think you, especially from the work that you do as well too, I think you have a unique perspective where you could bring to the table too. Like, they'll tell me this is our value proposition. I'm like, well, it depends on who you're talking to. That may be a good value proposition for this person, but if you're talking to the CFO, you're not going to speak their language because this is what they're interested in, and this is what the other people are interested in. And the problem with selling to health plans and the selling to government is most people are really lazy. Like, they just want to walk in and say, this is what we do. And I have to coach them.
You just want to make it on the GSA, baby.
Right. All right. But I go back and show them, like, look, you can pull state quality reporting. Look, you can pull outcome reporting. Look, you can pull what state initiatives are and at least match your message to what's important to them. So when you go in and talk to them, you can say, hey, I know something about you. And guess what? I may have something that could help you out. Like, it'd be like me walking to my neighbor next door saying, hey, you know what? I really know small engine repair. And him being like, I've got an electric mower. Get off my yard. And they do that. They honestly do that.
They go, just take the 20 for the pizza. Get off my porch.
God, that's funny. seriously though, I mean, they seriously walk in and break up things. It's just like, and that's one of the biggest problems in healthcare too that I was talking at the Becker's conference about. When developing value-based arrangements, is you're supposed to like be partnering on things, and the problem is the state has a quality strategy, a public health strategy, a Medicaid strategy. None of them are combined. They're all different things. They're all disparate things, and then the Medicaid plans incentivize the health plans with HEDIS measures that don't match up against what their state quality strategy. It's just whether or not, they're meeting the 75th percentile of them. So now you have the agency, the public health, the payers all have different initiatives. And now the providers are like, listen, we're really interested in doing these things. So I'm going to give you an example. Like, I remember when I was running a payer organization, like we were able to hit most of our HEDIS measures, but like lead testing was really hard. Well, you go to a hospital and be like, I don't care about lead testing. Like, that's not even on my top 20 list. Like, I want to figure out how I can get my frequent flyers out of my ED. I want to figure out how I can raise, and do better disease management. I want to figure out how I can do other, episodic type things like total knee replacement, like in an outpatient basis. They're looking at that. I want to reduce sepsis. And here I am like, well, we'll give you money if you can do some more lead testing. It's like, they're like looking at me like you're not even speaking. And that's the problem. Like if I go back and be Medicaid director again, like just for a few years, like when I would develop these things, I would develop it as an entire ecosystem. So we're all incentivized to do the same thing. Cause that's when the magic can really happen. Like that's when you can really like move the needle on things. And we're seeing that now around maternity outcomes and justice involved individuals and foster care kids. Like finally we're all like, yeah, that's all important to all of us. So now we can try to move the needle on that. But there are so many different aspects in these small ecosystems that just financial incentives don't align. And if they don't align, then the investments aren't going to align.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've done some consulting work for like Francisco Partners and Carlyle Group, some of these really big ones. The issue that I see, and the good guys, but their purposes are a little different. They're not actually trying to invest in the future. A lot of them say they are, but they're really looking for this shorter term hit, which is weird. Like VCs are short term, right? Invest, we're trying to get people to the B round, C round. Someone else gets in, we mitigate our risk. There's going to be a acquisition, or they're going to go public or something. Most likely an acquisition. Private equity is like we're trying to buy revenue streams and cut costs and all this kind of stuff. But it's what the toughest part for me had been in the past. You might see the same thing where they're really good at looking at spreadsheets. They look really good at doing financial modeling, but because they're so ignorant about the domain of where a company or an organization exists, that you say things that they can't actually, doesn't even make it into their head. It's almost like it's completely ignored. You're like, okay, I know I can tell you've ignored that. That's going to color everything now. Like you can't ignore that. We have to get back to the context of what you're talking about. Like you think this is important. This technology company looks great, et cetera. Have you seen these other factors that are out there right now that are going to be a block? It's going to make it harder for them to actually get adoption or grow. And then also, here's where other things are going, other companies are going. Here's kind of the consumer behaviors that might impact it. And it's almost just like, because they don't understand what I just said, and I don't know how to bring it to their level of knowledge all the time. They usually just go and it's, okay, all right, let me know about your next project. But being as you've cracked this code, being just this advisor they can keep coming to, that's where it's probably my personality. Maybe I'm just not nice enough. I'm probably not. I was watching this, actually, yeah. I was watching this show. Have you seen Ford versus Ferrari? I'm more like the Ken Miles guy, the driver who just can't, doesn't matter if he's talking to the chairman of Ford. He's just going to, like the filter isn't there. But I need to be more, I think, patient with investors. And I'm just not. We get to a certain point, like, hey, you're paying me because supposedly I'm an expert, but you're not listening. I'm not telling you not to invest. So I'm not telling you, here's how you should value the multiple. Here's what your liquidation preference should be. I'm not advising you on any of that. Like, that's your world. But I do know this world. And if you're just going to discount what I say, like, I don't know why you're spending it. And maybe they're just so used to working like the McKinseys of the world, which is just going to tell them whatever they want. We'll charge you 10x what Jon charges, but they're going to give a prettier PowerPoint and they're just going to say exactly what you want to hear, just in a different language.
Yeah. No, I think that's accurate. I mean, I really do. I think honestly, when I talk to the folks I have the opportunity to work with, whether it's pro bono or through, a different contract mechanism, it's just like, I'm the grunt. I have no problem going and finding the information if you don't have it. I have no problem telling you and talking to, I've been in the mud. Like, when you look at my background, like, I grew up working construction. I made it through college being a cop. I worked, a sheriff's deputy. I worked nights from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Awesome. So like, when we're talking about drug courts, we're talking about interventions, like, I have personal experience of working with folks. Like, I meet with people who are on Medicaid that are in different situations, life situations. And you know what? I understand, because I've been that far in the dirt. Like, I don't expect everybody to be in the dirt. Like, a lot of the folks, Carla Group, I actually work with one of their investment groups. I really like them. I think they're good people, but like, that's what I bring to the table. Like, you see all of the high level technical strategies. I will give you the dirt underneath the fingernails. I will tell you what you need to be, that you haven't seen, that I've seen, that you just need to be conscious of, and just be aware of that. If this policy changes, if this regulation changes, you could see a dramatic change in your business, regardless of your liquidity strategy, your exit strategy, whatever it might be. So that's the fun stuff I like bringing. Like, I'm not going to be the smartest person in the room, but I've got a few experiences that may shed some light.
But you know where to go. You do the dirty work, the grunt work, with people who know more than you.
Yeah.
Right. It's one of the reasons we created. The developers create our platform, is because it's, you don't know something, you use our platform to go find it. And so we help all these different companies and organizations get the feedback from their customers, get the feedback from their partners, get the feedback from their target markets, like real. So, hey, you got your anecdotes, you've had a couple conversations. Why not now get dozens and dozens and dozens of more people spread out across your target markets? They'll tell you really, really what's going on. Yeah. But it's a rare company, and it's a rare group that will take those data points when it challenges their narrative or what they want to have happen. It's amazing how easy it is for them to discount the kind of the brutal realities. Say, you know what? I've actually I was on a call with someone a couple weeks ago, and I'd caught up with probably 40 different executives at hospitals that use Epic. So I'm just, I didn't publish anything, I'm just having conversations, my network. And I had specific things that I wanted to know. So I talked to them. So about that one topic, I probably knew more than anyone. Not because I was smart, but because there's 40 people who are living it a lot smarter than me. And so in conversations with some of Epic competitors, I'd bring things up and they'd go, nope. Well, we were at our user meeting and we had someone that used to be at Epic. I'm like, oh, you got one data point that's a secondhand source. You didn't even talk to the person, versus 40 conversations. Like, good luck. Chuckles. Right on. Okay. And at that point, it's like, stop convincing. There's that old saying, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. I've tried to learn, like, no, if someone pushes back and they have better data, I'm like, sweet, I didn't know that. Gimme. When they push back with no data other than intuition, I'm like, okay, there was one Steve Jobs and you ain't he. So
no, that's so true. And honestly, that's one of the things it's so remarkable about the work you guys do is it's just, there's this concept in qualitative research called saturation. Essentially, it means you've had enough conversations to know what a reasonable universe of answers might be. Now, you can screw this up and go to just one location and talk to 3 people and have 3 conversations and have a misinterpretation of what the universe of answers are. Like,
100%.
we've seen it all the time. Like,
and certainly bad execution, even if you believe the data, doesn't mean that your execution is going to be right. Can't help with that. But
agree. And I think the other thing that you do such a great job with, your organization does, is just the consistent like reevaluation of those assumptions. Like, we assume something in January, it's May. Those assumptions may be out the window. So we need to be like continuing to pull the marketplace to understand.
And that's what we help our customers do, right? So it's not even us doing it anymore. We took our methodology and then said, okay, we create a software ecosystem around it, an entire platform that allows anybody at anywhere in any vertical within healthcare, life sciences, whatever, like use it as a GPS system. Like, know before you go, pull up your GPS and see, is there a traffic jam? Is there a faster route? Like, and you don't have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks to find out. Sometimes you can get enough data points in a week. Great. All right, now do something else. Like why, with AI coming out here right now, it's who in their right mind would start an EHR company? Because I can tell you in 5 to 7 years, EHRs won't even be recognizable. Like, do you actually need a full, like, why not just have an actual true data repository that is LLM based to the core in the Amazon cloud, for example, and then just have these agents with certain rules that works with a certain doctor one way, a different doctor another way, still collects everything you need to make sure you're getting paid and it's documented right. But it reduces the clinician burnout to zero or a lot less because it's just interacting with them in the right way, right? So I'm like, those are those things where you'd better stay up on data. You'd better keep your ear really close to the pulse of the market because things are getting more dynamic all the time. Like in your world, it's changing. Who would have thought that just changing administrations would have a radical impact on health plans across the board? Like, just there's impacts certainly. Oh, a little bit less cuts, more cuts here, but not a seismic shift. And it's organizations just need to be nimble. And that's the thing we're just trying to do with our platform is say, hey, you're probably blowing way too much money on research firms and way too much money on, high-end consulting firms, all this stuff. Like, use the platform, get your teams and do little pulses and know what your customers think, know what your members think, know what the market thinks, know what partners think, and then just take action based on sure knowledge rather than just a bunch of guesswork. So
no, and that's where the value should be in healthcare. The result is a direct byproduct of the investment, and it's 2-3x what the investment was.
It better be.
It's exactly that.
Be. Yeah, for sure, brother. Well, I don't want to waste your time, man. Like, we only had like an hour or so, and we've gone like 12 minutes over because it's just too fun. Way too fun.
Way too fun.
We'll have to do this again, man.
I loved it, man. I really did.
I'll put your LinkedIn profile in the show notes down below. If you have an Instagram, are you powerlifting? Send it to me. We'll put that in the show. We'll put that in the show notes. We'll also put like your UCare link to UCare so people can follow UCare and find out more about UCare. And if there's anything else, just send it to me. We'll probably, it'll be a week or so if we put it up. But
no, that's all good.
This was awesome, man.
It was. You're one of my favorite people, dude. Like
Dude, likewise.
This journey through life, you really meet kindred spirits and just cool human beings. And life is a team sport. And I'm glad we got to spend time today.
It is a team sport. You have to train on your own, but you get together and practice as a team, and you play as a team. Amen.
That's right.